What's up guys, today we're going to show you how to install the Foudu flare kit on the GD Body Subaru. So let's get into it. Alright guys, so you just got your kit in the mail, took it out of the box. A couple things you're going to do. First, you'll notice, if you look up close, there's a little bit of waves in the plastic from the manufacturer. It might seem like it's not flush, but it's nothing a little sanding can't take care of. What you're going to want to do is take some sandpaper and sand the entire thing before paint anyways. So you're going to want to sand that, make it sit flush, sand the entire surface so that when it gets painted, first of all, paint won't stick to ABS that's just shiny and smooth like this. It needs to be sanded for the paint to be able to stick and keep to this plastic. If not, it's just going to chip off. So give it a good sanding, and then as you paint it, you're going to want to go higher and higher in grits. But if you really want the job done right, I recommend taking it to a professional paint shop. They're going to be able to match the color of the paint to your car and give you a much better finish than if you were to do it yourself. Alright, so to install these flares, you're going to have to do a lot of cutting through your car's fenders to make sure that they'll fit. So let's take a look at the front fender. The front fender is just a singular piece of metal. So what you're going to want to do is take an angle grinder and you're going to draw a line. It all depends on how low you're going to be, but you're essentially going to cut the front bumper all the way up through the top of the flare, and then depending how low you're going to go, depending on your turn radius, you are going to have to cut into the side of the panel as well. And this just varies depending on how wide your wheel is, how low you're going to be, and the turn radius will determine how far you need to cut right here. So now let's move on to the rear. So the rear is a little bit more complex. You've got two pieces of metal here. So you have your top layer of metal, and then underneath that, you can see I have folded up the second layer of metal. It's important to, when you do this cut, to draw your Sharpie line where you want it. Cut this first layer, and then for the second layer, you're going to cut about an inch down from that. And once you cut that inch down, you're going to cut slits into it like I have here, and you're going to fold those over. And what that does is you can go through with a welder and seal this up, or you can get a special type of sealant that will seal that up as well, and that'll prevent rust from kicking up into the metal. Now let's take a look at the door. On mine, I've gone super low on the car, so I've had to cut into the door. You don't always have to do this. I've cut the door, and then if you look at the door against the car, I've done the same as well. This is only for extreme low applications. If you're riding at a normal to low ride height that's not totally slammed, you won't need to go this crazy. Alright, so when installing the front flare, what you're going to do is line up the side with the edge of the door, and then this line is going to continue, and it's going to sit right on the OEM line of your fender. So it should sit just like that, and then come down right here on the front bumper. And you'll notice on your kits that this piece tends to stick out, but once you put a bolt in there, it'll sit flush. Alright, so now for the rear. The rear's a little bit more tricky because we have a split piece for the door. So you got to make sure you do this right, or else it'll be all wonky. So the ideal goal is to make sure that these two pieces line up completely flush when they're installed. So for the gas cap door, you're going to start with the gas cap piece. You're going to set it right here, making sure that the bottom bolt hole is on the edge of your bumper, that this crease line is lined up with this crease right here, and then you're going to line the gas cap up completely flush so that there is no tolerance. And you'll notice that when you have this lined up right, on this side, it'll end just before the door, right there. So once you have that, it's helpful with 2 people, but you're gonna take your second piece, and what you're gonna do is get that totally flush. And once you have that flush, you should see that on the bottom piece of this door, that is almost flush. Alright guys, so when you run this kit, you're going to have to do something about the gas cap, because the gas cap will not open with the flares attached. So there's 2 things you can do. I've taken off my gas cap right here. You unbolt it, there's 3 bolts right here that will remove the gas cap. And there's 2 solutions to how you can fix this. One, you can get a hinge from the Home Depot or wherever, and you can make this gas cap open frontwards, or you can attach it right there and make it open that way. The other thing you can do, which I'm doing, is getting magnets, attaching it to the gas door, and then attaching it to the inside as well, so that it'll just magnet straight in. Get a pull tab right here, and then you'll be able to just pop this out. Alright, so here are some of the tools that you'll need to do this install. The first one is a grinder, an angle grinder. You can get this at Harbor Freight. This is for cutting your fenders. The second tool is a heat gun. This can be used if you decide to go really, really low with your flares. You can bend back the back arch of the front flare in order to get a better turn radius. All you have to do is heat up the plastic for about 5 to 10 minutes, and it'll be malleable enough to bend with your hands. Third tool is an orbital sander. This can make the job really easy when you're sanding your flares to paint prep, and when you're trying to get a really flat surface. There are a couple ripples in the flare, so this can come in handy. I use 80 grit all the way up to 220 or even higher. The second, or actually the fourth, is going to be a drill. This will be for drilling the holes in your fender flares, as well as the holes to insert your riv nuts, which I highly recommend for install. This tool is a riv nut insert gun. It can be $20 at Harbor Freight, and if you're going the riv nut route, I highly suggest getting this. This tool is a lifesaver. This tool is a cheese grater like deal, and if you have any edges that don't quite line up, or you want something to be a little bit more flush, I know that if you're putting this on, some guys are doing it on a Forester or a wagon or any type of car, and you want to get your line a little different or shave a little bit off, this can be really helpful. I recommend that. And then lastly are your rivet nuts and your bolts. Alright, so when you're fastening the kit to your car, there's a couple things you'll need. We recommend using rivet nuts, which are these. Basically what they are is a rivet, but inside it has threads so that you can thread a bolt into your car so the rivet isn't permanent. These are the bolts. And then this is a rivet nut insert gun. So we'll show you how to use that. Okay, so as you can see, your bolt is going to thread into your rivet nut, just like this. So, how you're going to insert this rivet nut is, you're going to take your rivet nut gun, and you're going to thread this rivet into here, and you're locked and loaded. Alright, so when choosing your rivet nut, I suggest going with a steel rivet nut. These are aluminum and they strip really easily, so when you're purchasing them, make sure to get the steel, and I believe they come in zinc coated as well. So this is a 1/4 inch, and to install this you're going to want to get a drill bit that's exactly the same size as this rivet nut. So I got the same size. Now I'm going to drill into my metal with this drill bit. So now you're going to take your rivet nut, thread it on your rivet nut gun, and you're going to insert it into your hole here. It should be pretty tight. And then you're just going to squeeze down, release, and then thread this out. Alright, so now we should be able to thread this bolt right in. Alright guys, so if you want to get some edge trim on your flares, like this, it gives it a nice, flush look, and it'll keep from scratching up the paint on your car. You can get this at the auto parts store or online. Just type in vehicle trim or seal. This is the kind of stuff that we got from O'Reilly Auto Parts for 12 bucks, and we used 2 of these. So you can go get some at O'Reilly's. But what this is going to look like when you put it against your car is that nice flush look, and it's not going to scratch up your paint. So that's one option you can do. Okay guys, thanks for watching this video. Hopefully it helped you. Just to let you know, my name is Nick, and this is Danny.
Hello.
And we are the guys behind Foudu Built. So if you have any questions regarding install, please let us know, and we really appreciate your guys' business. Yeah, so take it easy.